Good day everyone. This is Engineer Casabuena and in this video, i-discuss naman natin ngayon yung compressor section. So, compressor section, let's start first with its functions. So, first, its primary function is to supply air in sufficient quantity to satisfy the requirements of the combustion burners. A secondary function of the compressor is to supply bleed air or customer bleed air for various purposes in the engine and aircraft. The bleed air is taken from any of the various pressure stages of the compressor, and then bleeding air from the compressor. This causes a small but noticeable drop in engine power. Sometimes power loss can be detected by observing the engine pressure ratio indicator. So yun, basically ang compressor, ang function lang naman niya is i-compress yung air before pumasok sa combustion chambers natin or sa combustors. So para mag-supply ng air dun sa combustors, and then second function niya is to supply bleed air sa aircraft natin. So, yung bleed air kasi, may iba't ibang usage siya. For example, sa cabin pressurization, sa heating and cooling, or de-icing and anti-icing equipment, or pneumatic starting of engines. Yung bleed air na yun is kinukuha mula sa stages ng compressor, sa iba't ibang stage ng compressor. So yun, again, ang compressor section is another part ng cold section. The other one is yung air intake natin or air inlet. So, again, it forces air into the engine, and its main objective again is to supply compressed air for combustion in the combustion chamber. So, tulad na na-mention kanina, ang engine pressure ratio or compressor pressure ratio, uh, actually magkaiba ang engine pressure ratio, but isang term is compressor pressure ratio. When we say compressor pressure ratio, ito yung ratio ng outlet pressure doon sa inlet pressure sa dulo ng compressor versus sa uh, inlet ng compressor sa unang stage ng compressor. So, the amount of air passing through the engine is dependent upon three factors. So, first, yung compressor speed or RPM niya. Pangalawa is yung forward speed ng aircraft. And then third, yung density ng ambient pressure or surrounding air. So, depende to sa altitude ng aircraft. And to be effective, a modern compressor must increase the intake pressure 20 to 30 times above the ambient air pressure and move the air at a velocity of 400 to 500 feet per second. Okay, so furthermore, to increase yung efficiency of the gas turbine engine, the air being fed into it must be compressed, similar dun sa piston engine natin na kailangan i-compress before siya i-ignite. So before it has fuel added to it, and it is burnt in the combustion chambers and is subsequently expanded in the turbines. So, meron dalawang types ng compressor tulad nga ng nabanggit natin noong previous discussions natin. Yun yung axial flow compressor and yung centrifugal flow compressor. So, same sila ng function. Basically, ito compress yung air and both are driven by yung turbine natin. So, let's start first with the centrifugal compressor. So, centrifugal compressors, it is sometimes called a radial outflow compressor. So this compressor is one of the earliest compressor designs and is still used today in some smaller engines and auxiliary power units or APUs. And centrifugal compressors consist of an impeller, which is this one, diffuser, and a manifold. Okay, so compressors having only one impeller are referred to as single stage, while compressors having two impellers are referred to as a double stage compressor. So meron ding type ng compressor, centrifugal compressor na when two impellers are mounted back-to-back, such as this one, a double-sided or double-entry impeller is created. A single-stage or double-sided impeller. A single-stage double-sided impeller allows a higher mass airflow than that of a similar-sized single-stage single-sided impeller. So therefore, engines with double-sided impellers typically has a smaller overall diameter. So basically, kapag itong type ng centrifugal compressor, it allows a higher mass airflow than yung isang side lang na compressor. Basically, kino-compare lang naman, say for example, meron kang one stage or single stage na one-sided na impeller, and then meron kang one stage na double-sided na impeller. Basically, mas maganda yung performance nito double-sided compared dun sa single-sided. And then yung manifold, to add na lang, basically ang function lang naman is to distribute yung air in a smooth flow to the combustion section or yung sa combustion chamber. Uh, it diverts the flow of air from the diffuser, which is an integral part of the manifold, into the combustion chambers, and then it has one outlet port for each chamber so that air is evenly divided. So, discuss pa natin further yung combustion chamber, but basically, yung manifold, ang pinaka-function lang naman niya is to distribute yung air na na-compressed from the centrifugal compressor to the combustion chambers. So, centrifugal compressor is more robust and easier and cheaper to manufacture than the axial flow compressor. Yun yung advantage niya. And however, if we compare the two compressors, one centrifugal and the other axial, each with the same frontal cross-sectional area, same lang ng area sa front, the axial flow compressor can take in a far greater mass of air than the centrifugal compressor. And then much higher compression ratios can be attained in the axial flow compressor. So basically, mas maganda in terms of performance ang axial flow compressor with the same cross-sectional area, but then obviously mas mahaba yung length na natitake nung axial compressor. And then sabi nga dito, yung axial flow can take far greater of mass of air than the centrifugal compressor. And then from our previous discussion, alam naman natin yung thrust generated is affected by the mass of air flowing through it. Thus, again, yung axial flow compressor nga will generate more thrust than yung centrifugal compressor. That's why in modern type ng engines, axial flow yung compressor na ginagamit. So, yung operation niya, basically, the turbine assembly attached to the compressor shaft converts the pressure, velocity, and heat of the gases passing through the turbine into mechanical energy, which is used to drive the impeller of the compressor round at high speed. So yun lang, basically yung turbine, dinadrive niya yung impeller connected by a shaft. So ito yung turbine connected by a shaft. As the turbine rotates, nagro-rotate din yung impeller or yung compressors natin. So air is introduced continuously into the eye or the center of the impeller. So here, so from here, intake dito siya sa eye, and then by rotating guide vanes. And centrifugal force causes the air to flow outwards across the impeller towards the tip. So basically, it starts here at the center, and then yung rotational movement niya, kumbaga ginagamit yung centrifugal force para may direct outwards. Kaya siya tinawag na centrifugal compressor, radial flow compressor. Dinadirect niya outwards yung air dun sa tip nung compressor. Yan, from here, yan, due to rotational movement, centrifugal force ang ginagamit para may direct radially outwards yung air. Okay, so because of the divergence between the impeller blades, the pressure of the air increases as it flows outwards between them. And because the turbine is adding mechanical energy into the equation, the velocity of the air also increases. The air leaves the tip of the impeller and passes into the diffuser section. The diffuser section is a system of stationary divergent ducts which are designed to convert the kinetic energy of the airstream into potential energy. So basically, ang nangyayari is, ang dinidescribe lang naman dito yung changes sa properties ng air as it uh, as it is being processed by yung centrifugal compressor. Let's say meron kang property ng air at this pressure and velocity, and then once na ma-direct outwards na yung air, nag-i-increase ngayon yung pressure and then yung velocity. So hindi baka malito kayo, hindi na applicable ngayon yung Bernoulli's principle since hindi naman siya duct or diffuser. Okay? And also, sabi nga dito, yung pressure of the air increases as it flows outwards between them. So, nag-increase yung pressure as it is being thrown out radially. And also, dahil nga sa turbine ay nag-add na mechanical energy, thus, velocity of the air also increases. So, nag-increase yung velocity, nag-increase din yung pressure dito sa impeller Okay, but iba na yung usapan kapag ka nasa diffuser na. Ito na yung applicable na Bernoulli's principle wherein yun nga, kapag ka nag-decrease yung velocity, mag-increase ngayon yung pressure. Okay, so sa diffuser section, pinapababa yung velocity and thus tumataas ngayon yung pressure mo. Okay, so if you can see here, 50% ng pressure rise is nanggagaling dito sa impeller, and then yung other 50% nag-occur dito rin naman sa diffuser. So both of these responsible sila sa pag-increase ng pressure ng air. Okay, so the compression ratio of a single stage centrifugal compressor could be in the region of 4:1. So mataas yung compression ratio niya compared sa isang stage ng axial flow compressor, which is i-discuss natin mamaya. So to get greater engine compression ratio, two centrifugal compressors would have to be used in series with each other. Yun na yung dalawang stage ng centrifugal compressor. Okay, so yan. So, let's say for example, meron kang inlet pressure na ambient pressure, 14.7 psi. So, outlet pressure, 4:1, compression ratio niya. So, 4 times 14.7. Makakakuha ka ng 58.8 psi after being compressed. And then, after if two-stage centrifugal compressor naman, so yun, after first stage, 58.8, similar here. And then, times 3 after the second stage. Okay. So, if you can notice, hindi na siya kasing laki nung sa 4 tulad nung sa first stage. Nag-decrease na siya because it is said here that it is not feasible to use more than 2 centrifugal compressor stages because excessive impeller tip speeds and excessive centrifugal loading prohibit efficient operation of a third stage. Thus, engine compression ratios higher than 12:1 are not considered possible using centrifugal compressors. So, kaya usually, 2-stage lang siya. Hindi nakakayanin kapag naging 3 stages pa. So, yun yung isang disadvantage ng centrifugal compressor. Although, ang advantage niya is malaki yung compression ratio niya sa isang stage pa lang ng compression. So, mamaya, malalaman natin kung gaano ba kalaki yung compression ratio sa isang stage ng axial flow compressor. So, yun, for its advantages and disadvantages. So, first, ang isang advantage niya is its simplicity in manufacturing, relatively low cost, low weight, low starting power requirements, and operating efficiency over a wide range of rotational speed. And then one of its disadvantage is its large frontal area required for a given airflow increases aerodynamic drag. Large frontal area required for a given airflow increases aerodynamic drag. And then practical limits on the number of stages restrict its usefulness when designing larger and more powerful engines. So next is yung axial flow compressor. So axial flow compressor converts the velocity of the airstream, its kinetic energy, into potential energy or pressure. The axial flow compressor consists of a number of stages. A stage is one row of rotor blades of airfoil section which are fastened to a disc, followed by one row of stator vanes also of airfoil section. So yun, basically sa axial flow compressor, meron kang airflow along the horizontal axis of the compressors. And then, meron kang dalawang elements as mentioned here, yung rotors and yung stators. So, basically, ang task niya is to raise yung air pressure rather than yung air velocity. So, meron kang rotor blades, yun yung moving parts. So, as said here, airfoil section. So, parang sa wings ng aircraft, meron siyang airfoil. So, i-discuss natin kung para saan ba siya. So, fastened to a disc, di-discuss ulit natin siya mamaya kung yung construction naman niya. And then, meron kayong stator vanes na hindi sila nagmo-move or stationary lang sila. And also, meron din silang airfoil. Okay, sa axial flow compressor, meron kang rotor blades, meron kang stator vanes. Okay, so, yun nga, yung rotor blades used in an axial flow compressor have an airfoil cross-section with a varying angle of incidence or twist. This twist compensates for the blade velocity variation caused by radius. The angle and airfoil contour of the blades forces air rearward in the same manner as propeller. So, ang idea lang naman dito is meron kang airfoil. So, sa wing na natin, alam naman natin na i-familiar na tayo kasi meron kang wing, 'di ba? Kapag nagkaroon ka ng airflow, mas mataas yung pressure dito compared dito sa upper surface. Mas mataas yung pressure sa lower surface compared dun sa upper surface. So, yun lang din yung operation dito. So, parang nakatabing eh. So, mas mataas yung pressure dito. Okay, so ini-increase mo yung pressure as it moves along dun sa stages ng compressor. Okay. So, also na-mention dito na hindi siya hindi siya ganito lang all throughout sa chord length. Okay, sa length ng blade. Meron kang angle of incidence. Okay, meron kang twist. So, meron kang airfoil na to, meron kang airfoil na to, meron kang airfoil na to. So, if familiar na kayo sa operation ng or sa idea ng propeller, kung bakit siya may twist, kasi syempre pag propeller, meron kang difference ng radius or ng diameter along its length. So, yung airflow, kailangan ma-compensate ngayon yung uh, variation na to. That's why nagkakaroon ka ng uh, angle of twist along its chord length or span length. Okay. So, yun. But basically, yun nga, meron kang angle of twist para makompensate dun sa difference ng diameter sa propeller along its span pala. And then, yung sa propeller nga, yung sa wing, na meron kang pressure at low surface. Okay? And, so yun. So, twisted to compensate for blade velocity variations along the length of the blade. So, the stator vanes, on the other hand, are arranged in fixed rows between the rows of rotor blades and acts as a diffuser at each stage, decreasing air velocity and raising pressure. Like rotor blades, stator vanes have an airfoil shape. In addition, the angle of attack of stator vanes can be fixed or variable. So, yun lang. Basically, ang idea lang naman dito, fixed rows, similar sa rotor blades. So, ang nangyayari is rotor blade, rotors, stators, rotors, stators, rotor stators, kumbaga salit-salit. And then, ang function niya is nag-act siya as diffuser. Kapag ka-diffuser, nagde-decrease yung air velocity and nagre-raise yung pressure. Parang sa Bernoulli's principle. So, like rotor blades, meron din silang airfoil shape. And then, yung airfoil shape na yon, yung blade na yon, pwede siyang maging fixed, pwede rin siyang maging variable or nagagalaw, which is i-discuss natin later on. But so far, ito muna yung kailangan natin tandaan when it comes to stator vanes. So, stator vanes are fastened to the compressor outer casing, such as this one. So, nakakabit sila dyan. And then, the spaces between the rotor blades and the stator vanes form divergent passages. Yun na nag-act as diffuser. So, also, meron pang idea sa stator vanes na yung first stage ng rotor blades or set of rotor vanes immediately in front of the first stage ng rotor blades, tinatawag na inlet guide vanes. So, basically, nag-help lang sila mag-direct ng airflow before pumasok mismo sa pinaka-compressors at the best angle while imparting a swirling motion in the direction of engine rotation. Okay? Swirling motion in the direction of the engine rotation. So, this action improves the aerodynamics of the compressor by reducing the drag on the first stage rotor blades. So, yun. Basically, ginag-guide lang nila yung air before pumasok dun sa first stage ng rotors. Okay? So, a number of discs equates to the number of stators. So, basically, number of discs yun sa number of rotors. Kumbaga, equal yung number ng stators and ng rotors. Usually, ganun ang nangyayari. To form an integral rotor drum which is driven by the turbine. Okay? So, meron kang iba't ibang construction here ng rotors. Okay? Tapos, nakakabit sila sa may disc. And then, yun na yung nagiging drum nakakabit ngayon sa turbine para pag umikot siya, iikot din yung pinaka-disc natin or drum. na tinatawag. So, iba't ibang construction. Yan. So, didiscuss pa natin yan mamaya. So, yun. Sa axial flow compressor, meron kang pressure stages na tinatawag. Each consecutive row of rotor blades and stator vanes constitutes a pressure stage. So, tulad sa centrifugal compressor kanina, di ba? Usually hanggang 2 stage lang. But sa axial flow compressor, multiple stages is possible. So, the number of stages is determined by the amount of air and total pressure rise required. A single stage in an axial flow compressor is capable of producing a compressor pressure ratio of only 1.25:1. If you can remember earlier, kapag a centrifugal compressor, up to 4:1 yung ratio na kaya niyang i-gain. But dito, sa isang stage is 1.25 lang is to 1. Usually, ito yung kaya ng isang stage. Okay? So, therefore, high compressor pressure ratios are obtained by adding more compressor stages. That's why multiple stages yung kailangan para ma-achieve yung higher pressure ratio by adding more compressor stages. Yun nga, tumataas yung compression ratio. And then, in order to add more compressor stages, multi-spool compressors are created. Ito discuss natin ito later on. So, ito for example, meron ko isang spool, isang connection ng turbine sa compressor. Then, meron kang dual spool, meron ka ring triple spool. So, yun. In the rotor blades, which are turned continuously at high speed by the turbine, mechanical energy is added and converted into both kinetic or velocity energy and potential pressure energy. So, within the stator vanes, the air pressure is increased by the conversion of the kinetic energy into pressure energy. The pressure rise across each stage is only quite small, the ratio being about 1.1 or 1.25:1. So, in order to achieve compression ratios demanded by more powerful engines, many rotor stages may be fitted on one shaft which is driven by its own turbine. So, tulad lang din ng minention kanina. So, basically, pinapakita lang yung nangyayari sa pressure and velocity ng air as it goes through dun sa multiple stages ng turbine. So, yun nga, isang kailangan i-take note yung angle and airfoil contour, di ba? Tumataas yung pressure dun sa lower surface. So, as it goes through the multiple stages, dun tumataas yung pressure. And also, dito, if you want see, so ito yung inlet pressure mo and inlet velocity at this point lang, parehas. So, sa first stage ng stator, so bumababa yung pressure mo, tumataas slightly yung velocity as it is being sucked in the compressor. And then, sa first rotor stage, nagkakaroon ka ngayon ng increase in velocity and also increase in velocity and also increase in pressure. Yung in-explain dito. So, mechanical energy is being added and converted into kinetic energy and potential energy due to nga sa mechanical energy. Basically, similar lang siya sa impeller dun sa centrifugal compressor wherein nagkakaroon ng increase in pressure and velocity. So, again, after ng rotor is stators. So, sa rotors, dun na siya nag-act as diffuser. So, yun yung mention kanina. And then, basically, nag-act lang siya sa similarly dun sa diffuser ng centrifugal compressor wherein bumababa yung velocity and then nag-increase ngayon yung pressure. Okay, Bernoulli's principle as a diffuser. Okay, so yun. Again, kanina, nag-act siya as divergent passage. So yun lang, paulit-ulit lang siya after ng stator, rotor, nag-increase ulit yung velocity, nag-increase yung pressure as mechanical energy is being added, and then rotor, or stator, and then yun, bababa yung velocity, increase yung pressure hanggang sa pinakadulo ng stage, hanggang mag-increase na yung pressure ng air dun sa pinaka last stage ng compressor. So yun lang naman yung operation ng axial flow, kung paano nag-increase yung pressure along the stages. So yun, yung process niya, to sum it up again, the air from the air inlet is guided by the inlet guide vanes to the rotors and stators. And each compressor stage raises the pressure of the incoming air while the air's velocity is alternately increased then decreased as airflow proceeds through the compressor from rotor nga and stators. Nag-increase, decrease, increase, decrease yung velocity but yung pressure is constantly tumataas. The rotor blades slightly accelerate the airflow, then the stator blades diffuse the air, slowing it and increasing the pressure. So, tulad ng mention ko kanina. So the overall result is increased air pressure and relatively constant air velocity from compressor inlet to outlet, as you can see here. Since taas baba lang siya, almost constant. And then the outlet guide vanes will now guide the compressed air into the diffuser to prepare the air mass for combustion. So, i-discuss pa natin yan, yung sa diffuser before yung combustion chamber. But yun, idea lang na meron ka pa rin ulit diffuser before yung combustion chamber. I-discuss natin yun sa next discussion kapag nag-move on na tayo sa hot section ng engine. So, this process will repeat depending on the number of spools the compressor have. So, a number of compressor rotor stages on a single shaft which is driven by a turbine is termed a spool. Yun nga yung connection ng turbine sa compressors. So, in larger modern engines, compressors may consist of up to 3 spools. So, compression ratio up to 35:1 can be attained kapag multiple spool greater than 80 psi. So, say for example, in this figure, meron kang isang spool, this turbine, this set of compressors, and this set of turbine. One spool, this set of compressors, this set of turbine, another spool, and then this compressor or fan blade, and then these turbines, another spool. So, i-discuss pa natin siya further later. So, additionally, yung ibang type ng engines for lower powered engines, merong combination ng centrifugal and axial compressors. Tulad dun sa turbo shaft, if naalala nyo, meron kang axial compressor. And then sa last stage is meron kang centrifugal compressor. So, furthermore, the space between the rotor drum, which is ito nga yung rotor drum, and then yung compressor outer casing, which is ito, rotor drum, kung saan nakakabit yung mga compressor plates. Then outer casing, yung space between them, tinatawag na air annulus. Which is ito yon. So, if you can notice, mas malaki yung area dito, compared dito. So, meron siyang reason bakit ganyan. So, to maintain the actual velocity of the air reasonably constant as it passes through the compressor, the size of the air annulus must be reduced. Kasi nga, if you can remember yung process kanina, taas baba yung velocity ng air. So, kailangan meron kang way para mag-increase yung velocity ng air mo. Okay, ito rin yung function ng air annulus. So, yun. Yung air, again, nakakompress into smaller volume and its density is nag-increase throughout the compressor stages. Okay, so additional info lang. So, yung gradual convergence, di ba, sa kapag subsonic flow, pagka-subsonic flow, dumaan sa convergence, ang nangyayari sa velocity ng air is bumibilis. So, if, yun lang din, kapag sa, say for example, meron kang hose, kapag na-restrict mo yung flow ng water sa hose na yun, say for example, tinakpan mo yung half, 'di ba? Ang mangyayari is lumalakas yung pressure ng tubig or lumalakas siya. So, ganun lang din yung idea dito sa convergence ng air annulus. So, yun. It is achieved by either tapering the compressor outlet, the compressor outer casing, or the rotor drum. So, taper in size. So, meaning palaki or paliit. Pwedeng yung outer casing, pwede rin yung drum. Or in some cases, a combination of both is used. So, for example, ito, naka-taper is yung casing. Dito is casing din. And then dito, parehas naka-taper yung casing and then yung rotor drum. So, furthermore, there is a vector relationship between the actual velocity of the air. So, yung velocity ng air, papasok sa compressor. And then yung RPM ng compressor o rotation ng compressor. And then yung vectors nilang dalawa nag-give ngayon ng angle of attack over sa rotor blade and nagde-determine ng pressure zone sa either side of the blade, sa low surface and then sa upper surface. So similar sa wing, high pressure sa baba, low pressure sa taas. Okay, so ano bang significance nito? So ang idea lang naman dito para visualize natin easier. Say for example, since similar sa propeller or similar sa wing muna, 'di ba meron kang wing? Okay, so meron kang airflow. So pag ganito, nakadirect siya here dito sa leading edge ng wing mo. Okay? So as is lang siya kung depende sa angle of attack mo, nagbabago yung direction, I mean nagbabago yung angle of attack mo nga depende dun sa angle ng aircraft mo. Okay? So yun, walang problema dyan. Yan yung concept. But then, kapag ka nakatagilid na siya, say ito na uh, yung ano mo, and then ang movement mo is hindi naman pa ganito kasi ang rotation mo is pa ganito since paikot nga, 'di ba? Yung compressor. So hindi ang air mo is hindi siya pa ganito since ang movement niya is up and down since pa rotate. Similar sa propeller, 'di ba? So para magkaroon ka ng angle of attack since hindi naman pa ganito yung direction ng air mo kasi hindi naman pa ganito yung movement ng compressor blades mo, instead up and down since rotation. Para magkaroon ng angle of attack, meron ka ngayong actual flow, velocity ng air, incoming air. And then meron ka pang rotation. Yun yung in-explain dito, yung velocity ng air mo plus yung engine RPM mo na up and down movement ng compressor blades. Yun yung nag-give sa'yo ng angle of attack. So I hope na malinaw. Yun lang naman yung idea dito kasi mamaya meron pa siyang significance kung ba't ba kailangan i-explain yung angle of attack sa compressor blades. Okay, but for now, I hope na-grasp nyo yung idea na pinapoint dito. Okay, so the compression ratio of this compressor, say for example in this example or in this figure, compression ratio niya is 22:1. At 100% rotational speed, okay, so full power ng engine or sa full design power, the compression ratio ma-achieve yung 22:1 kapag yun nga 100%, and then the volume of a unit of air under normal compression will reduce as it passes through the compressor at 100% power. So basically yun nga yung unit of air mo nagre-reduce yung volume niya from here to here, nagre-reduce yung volume for the same unit of air. Okay, kasi nga kino-compress. So yun, the vectorial relationship between the engine RPM and the airflow actual velocity will give an angle of attack over the rotor blade, yung in-explain ko kanina, and pressure zones, which are optimum that would occur at design point. So ito yung normal, kumbaga in-explain mo na dito yung normal, 100% engine power. So normal yung rotation ng blade or optimal. And then normal din yung velocity ng airflow. Thus ma-achieve mo yung pag-reduce ng volume for a unit of air. Ibig sabihin, ma-achieve mo yung compression na gusto mo. Okay, so basically ito yung simple. Okay, so yun, the problem which is associated with the compressor operating efficiently over its complete speed range is caused by the fact that the compression ratio of the engine falls as the speed of rotation of the compressor falls and vice versa. So basically, ang idea lang naman dito, if yung engine RPM mo, kasi kanina di ba 100%, if bumaba siya, obviously bababa rin yung compression ratio mo kasi yun nga mag-iiba na yung angle of attack mo and so on. So therefore, yun nga, when the engine is running at low RPM, there is not compressed as much as at the design point or yung 100%, and the volume which it occupies inside the engine becomes greater. So instead na bumaba yung volume mo or nako-compress siya, hindi siya nagiging compress masyado since low RPM nga yung compressor mo. Such as in this graph. Okay, so ano ka normal operating line, RPM lines, ito yung design point. So, ito nga yung RPM lines. If mababa masyado yung RPM mo, mababa rin yung compression ratio mo. So, basically, itong graph na to, pinapakita lang naman yung relationship ng air mass flow and compression ratio, and then yung RPM lines, and so on. So dito sa line na to, normal operating line, ang indication lang naman niya is yung optimal or yung design point or normal operating line wherein nag-equate yung maximum compression ratio and maximum air mass flow at a number of different RPMs. So kumbaga ito yung balanced out na. Hindi masyadong mahaba yung actual velocity, hindi masyadong mixy yung RPM, hindi masyadong mahaba yung RPM, hindi masyadong malikli yung actual velocity, kumbaga balance out. Ito yung nangyayari sa normal operating line. Okay. So, also, it is also called this surge or stall line. Baka lang kasi ma-encounter nyo in the future itong graph to. So, above this line, kapag ka nagkaroon na ng imbalance sa air mass flow and sa compression and sa RPM mo, below this line, possible na magkaroon ng or napopromote na yung compressor stall and surge na tinatawag. Okay. So, yun nga, again, sa normal operating line, ito yung match na yung compression ratio and yung air mass flow and doon sa different RPMs. And then, ito na yung maximum na RPM and then yung air mass flow. So, yung area na to. So, again, to clear lang, beyond this point pala, beyond this point, ito na yung maximum, di ba? Beyond this point, itong area na to, ito na yung napopromote na yung stall and yung surge. And then sa normal operating line and then yung stall and surge line, itong area na to, ito na yung kumbaga margin mo for safe operation to allow nga yung fluctuations ng air or problem in fuel management and so on. Kumbaga to allow lang for that mistake or unseen circumstance. But beyond this point, yun na yung na po-promote na yung compressor and yung surge. Wherein i-discuss natin later kung ano ba yung dalawang yun. So, normal operating line, stall, surge line. So, again, as discussed here, yun nga, yung pag bumaba masyado yung RPM mo, but then same lang yung actual flow velocity, hindi nagkakaroon ng magandang compression ng air. Kasi, say, in this example naman, kapag ka naging 60% na ngayon yung throttle power mo, yung compression ratio ngayon is ma-reduce into 11:1. So the volume of the same unit of air entering the compressor is larger when compressed to 11:1 than it was to 22:1. Basically, hindi siya ganoon na-compress compared kapag ka 100% power. So, to get through the compressor in the same amount of time it took when it was compressed at 22:1, the increased volume of air must move faster. So, kapag ka same rate from here to here, same speed from here to here, para kasing bilis ng 22:1 kasi factor din yun dun sa combustion since dapat continuous, di ba? Continuous combustion. So, dapat kung gaano kabilis yung compression ratio or kung gaano kabilis yung travel ng air from here to here kapag ka 100% engine rotational speed, dapat yung speed is maging same lang kahit na na-reduce yung engine RPM. So, yun nga, the increased volume of air must move faster. Wherein here, tataas ngayon yung vector ng actual flow velocity. Okay? Ito yung engine RPM, umikli siya since 60% na lang yung engine rotational speed. The changed relationship between the increased airflow actual velocity and the reduced RPM will give a low angle of attack over the rotor blade. Okay? So, similar sa operation ng wing, meron ka ngayong low angle of attack which will reduce the size of the pressure zone. So, hindi ganun kataas yung pressure dito sa low surface ng airfoil. Okay? And then, kapag nag-rotate naman siya faster than its design maximum, say for example, 105%, yung compression ratio mag-increase. Okay, so as you can see here, magiging 24:1. So, para maging para maging same ng speed travel ng air from here to here, same sa 22:1, ang mangyayari is babagal ngayon yung vector na ngayon ng velocity of air. So, mataas yung engine RPM. So, supposedly dapat 105%. Okay, so bababa to. Ang, kapag bumaba to, tataas to, ang resulting vector nila is mataas yung angle of attack. Magkakaroon kayo ng high angle of attack. Okay, so ito nga, as mentioned here, the changed relationship between the airflow actual velocity and the RPM will change the angle of attack. With decreased airflow velocity and an increased RPM, it will generate a high angle of attack over the rotor blade. Okay, so mataas yung RPM mo, mababa yung actual flow velocity equals high angle of attack. So ano mangyayari pag mataas yung angle of attack? If familiar kayo sa aerodynamics, kapag may airflow, pag masyado mataas yung angle of attack, doon na nagkakaroon ng stall. Okay? So, the reduction in actual velocity can reach a point where turbulent airflow is mag-occur or a phenomena called stall may occur. Okay? So, stall is a partial breakdown of the airflow through the engine and is a progressive condition which, if not checked, may produce an event called surge. So, surge is a total breakdown of airflow through the engine, which can, in the worst case, cause the airflow through the engine to instantaneously reverse its direction of flow. So, instead na paloob, is palabas. So, yung flame is nahihigop papunta dun sa compressors. Yun yung surge na tinatawag. So, nangyayari naman siya first is yung stall. So, from stall, it may develop into surge. Okay? So, similar sa wing, yung stall na nangyayari siya or yun yung kapag yung airflow is nagsiseparate dun sa compressor blade, disrupting ngayon yung pressure build up. So yung compressor stall, it may be localized disruption lang sa airflow over some compressor blades, and it can be temporary and possible din na ma-recover siya. But kapag ka-surge na, yun yung severe or system-wide disruption of airflow. So again, it can usually lead to complete airflow reversal. Okay? So furthermore, yung idea na yung pressure at the rear of the compressor is mas mataas than the front, 'di ba? Similar sa propeller operation. So dapat mas mataas yung papunta dito. Mas mataas yung pressure dito compared dito. So if the compressor cannot continue compressing the air effectively, the pressure behind it may drop. So possible na bumaba yung pressure instead na tumaas. So or yung pressure sa front may become too high, reducing yung forward pressure difference. Okay, so kapag nag-fail yung compressor na mag-deliver ng sufficient airflow, the pressure behind the compressor or yung downstream will become higher than the compressor exit pressure. Kumbaga yung nasa front, possible na maging mas mataas yung pressure compared dun sa behind ng compressor blades. And meron naman tayong idea na yung fluid is nagmo-move from high pressure to low pressure. Okay? So, if ganun nga yung nangyari, yung higher pressure air behind ng compressor pushes backward into the compressor. So, doon na nangyayari yung flow reversal wherein yung air momentarily is nagmo-move in the wrong direction through the engine. So, again, nangyayari lang siya kapag hindi sufficient yung deliver ng airflow wherein yun nga, kapag nangyayari ngayon yung stall. Okay, kasi humihiwalay na yung airflow sa compressor blades. Okay, so yun na yung surge. So furthermore, a compressor blade has an angle of attack, therefore are subject to the same aerodynamic principles that apply to aircraft wings. A compressor stall occurs when the compressor blade's angle of attack exceeds the critical angle of attack. It can be described as an imbalance between the two vector quantities, yung inlet velocity or actual airflow velocity and yung compressor rotational speed or RPM. So yun. Furthermore, meron tayong iba't ibang systems na ini-ensure na yung stall is dapat maiwasan, or meron tayong system na ina-apply sa aircraft or sa engine para maiwasan yung mga ganong scenarios. So, merong variable inlet guide vanes, VIGVs, variable stator vanes, compressor blades, and multi-spool compressors. So, ito nga yung una, yung variable inlet guide vanes. So, basically, ang operation lang naman nito is kaya mag-rotate or mag-change na angle of attack yung inlet guide vanes, kaya tinawag na variable. Basically, hindi siya fixed. So, it is fitted to engines which are prone to compressor stall at low RPM or during engine acceleration or deceleration. They are fitted just in front of the first rotor stage. So, ito yung pinakauna, which is yung inlet guide vanes nga, tulad kanina. Instead na fixed is, kaya niya mag-rotate or mag-change na angle of attack. So, they can be automatically pivoted around their own axis to vary the path of the airflow going into the compressor. So, maintaining the proper relationship between the compressor rotational speed and the velocity of the airflow through the front compressor stages. So, yun, basically para ma-maintain yung vectoral relationship ng actual airflow and ng RPM. Since, yun nga, may iba't ibang stages ng flight from low speed or possible magkaroon ng low speed, yung throttle setting to full power for takeoff and so on. So yun, para ma-compensate yung airflow velocity, para mag-compensate yung RPM ng compressor dun sa airflow velocity, nag-change na angle of attack yung inlet guide vanes. So yun, at low compressor speeds or low RPM, the variable inlet guide vanes are angled to impart the greatest amount of swirl into the air. Okay, so ito yun. So, mataas yung angle of attack niya, thereby correcting the relative airflow to obtain the optimum angle of attack over the rotor blade. Maintaining this optimum angle of attack allows a smooth and rapid engine acceleration. And then kapag mataas na yung RPM, which is dito, the variable inlet guide vanes reduce the swirl imparted to the airflow, thereby maintaining the correct angle of attack of the air flowing over the rotor blades. So yun lang. Basically para mag-compensate lang again sa actual velocity and sa engine RPM. So next is yung variable stator vanes. So variable stator vanes, ito naman is yung stators mo is nagro-rotate din. Okay, so to minimize airflow problems which may occur after the first rotor stage has been negotiated. When the engine is operating at other than its optimum conditions, some engines are fitted with variable stator vanes. So instead na inlet guide vanes lang yung nag-iba ng rotation, pati yung stator vanes mo is nagkakaroon na rin ng rotation. So variable stator vanes can be progressively closed automatically so that as the compressor speed is reduced from the optimum design value, they maintain the airflow onto the following blades at an acceptable angle of attack. So similar lang din naman siya ng function dun sa inlet guide vanes, but then yun nga, yung ibang stator din, since hindi naman possible pa rin magkaroon ng problem sa airflow sa stages ng compressors, that's why pati yung stators sa loob ng engine mo, compressor stages, is ginawa na ring variable or ginawa na ring uh, nag ginawa na ring possible na mag-rotate or mag-change na angle of attack. So yung last set of vanes the compressor air passes through is the outlet vane assembly. So kung may inlet guide vane ka, meron kang outlet vane. So yung vanes na yun, yung last set is nag-eliminate ng any swirling motion or turbulence since sila na yung papasok ngayon sa combustion chamber. The air velocity of the compressed air must be slowed before it enters the combustion chamber. That's why merong divergent shape of a diffuser which it slows yung compressor discharge while at the same time increasing air pressure to its highest value in the engine. So basically, ang idea lang is meron ka pang diffuser before yung last stator vane mo or yung outlet vane dun sa space between yun and dun sa first stage ng combustion mo or sa entrance ng combustion, meron kang diffuser section dun wherein bumababa yung velocity mo plus tumataas yung pressure. So yun, additional idea lang. At i-discuss pa natin siya further sa next discussion. Okay. So next is yung compressor bleeds. So in some engines at low compressor RPM, the relationship of the RPM and actual airflow velocity may not be maintained to give the rotor blades the optimum angle of attack unless some of the excess volume of air is allowed to escape from the intermediate stages of the compressor. So if a compressor bleed valve is fitted to the compressor casing at a position adjacent to the intermediate stages of the compressor, it can be opened at low RPM and during engine acceleration to allow some of the excess volume of air to escape. So dito naman, basically meron ka lang bleed valve kung saan yung ibang air is possible na lumabas para mag-reduce ngayon yung actual flow velocity. So para pumantain yung actual flow velocity dun sa engine RPM mo, lumalabas yung ibang air dun sa intermediate stages. Okay. So the compressor bleed will have the effect of bringing the actual velocity of the air in the earlier stages of the compressor closer to the optimum value and also of reducing the choking effects in the rear of the compressor. So, paano ba siya nag-ooperate? So, meron tayong figures here. So, it shows a pneumatically operated compressor bleed fitted to the intermediate compressor section of a bypass engine. So, when the engine is operating at high power settings, the high pressure compressor or HP compressor output will be high enough to lift the diaphragm in the actuator valve, allowing high pressure air to maintain the maintain the bleed valve closed. So, for example, here meron kang intermediate stage, meron kang high pressure stage. So, kumbaga dito, meron ka ng two spool. So, dito sa high pressure, obviously, mas mataas yung pressure mo compared dito sa intermediate. Okay, so, andito yung combustion chamber, turbine, and so on. So, andito yung inlet pag ganito yung movement. So, meron ka ngayon connection from high pressure to the diaphragm. Okay. So, here. So, mataas yung pressure mo. Pagka masyado mataas yung pressure mo dito, yung pressure mo is napupull upwards na yung itong diaphragm, tas nalilift yung actuator valve. Pag nalift siya, magkakaroon ng passage air, or yung high pressure air mo, thus, nagkakaroon ng movement dito sa bleed valve. Okay. And then, on the other hand, so basahin muna natin. Conversely, when the engine RPM drops, the high pressure compressor output pressure also drops. So, bumababa na yung pressure dito kapag bumaba na yung engine RPM. Eventually, the drop in pressure will allow the actuator valve in the diaphragm to fall, so hindi na ma-maintain, hindi na push upwards, and close off the supply of HP air to the bleed valve, allowing a reduction in the volume of air through the compressor, which would otherwise tend to choke the flow of air through the engine. So, yun nga, pumunta na yung air mo dito. So, mapupush niya to outwards para mag-close na yung pathway kapag mataas yung engine RPM mo. But sa low RPM na, syempre bababa rin yung pressure ng air. So, yung pathway ngayon ng high pressure air, hindi na masyado mataas yung pressure para ma-lift yung actuator valve. Thus, nagpo-fall off, nawawala na yung access ng high pressure air. Thus, babalik na siya in normal operation. Tataas na to, mapupush siya by the pressure here. And then, nagkakaroon ngayon ng bleed air. Kumbaga, yung air is nababawasan yung air dito sa compressor stage na to sa intermediate. So, yun lang yung operation ng bleed valve. So, ang disadvantage niya is nagdi-decrease nga siya ng mass airflow through the engine. So, tulad nga ng principle ng operation ng jet engine, kapag na-decrease yung mass airflow, nagkakaroon din ng decrease sa thrust for a given throttle position, which raises the engine's specific fuel consumption. A decrease in mass airflow also raises the engine's exhaust gas temperature because the amount of cooling air available in the combustion chambers will have decreased. So, basically, tumataas yung temperature dun sa tumataas yung exhaust gas temperature. So, discuss pa natin siya further. But yun yung disadvantage ng bleed compressor bleeds. So, next is yung multi-spool compressors. So, yun nga, early axial flow engines were developed by adding more compressor stages on one shaft. So, isang connection lang ng compressors and then turbines to obtain higher and higher compression ratios. And then, unfortunately, having many compressor stages on one shaft makes it increasingly difficult to retain the ability to operate the engine over a reasonable RPM range. So, yun nga, magiging sobra na kapag sobrang daming stages sa isang shaft lang. So, compressor blade angles are arranged to give peak performance around maximum RPM when the actual velocity of the airflow and the rotational speed of the blade produce the optimum angle of attack of the airflow over the blade. Any reduction in the engine RPM causes the angle of attack to reduce from its optimum value. Because of this, compressor stall becomes ever present at lower engine speeds. So yun, dinidiscuss lang din naman yung effect ng pag-change ng rotational speed and then yung angle of attack. So to overcome the tendency of the compressor stalling at low RPM, designers split the compressor initially into two separate sections. The two sections were called respectively the high pressure or HP compressor and the low pressure or LP compressor. So ito yung low pressure compressor mo, LP compressor, yung mas malapit dun sa intake. And then ito yung high pressure compressor. So ito is dual spool. Okay, iba yung turbine neto, iba yung turbine neto. But in later, more powerful engines, designers split the compressor into three sections by adding an intermediate pressure compressor. So, meron kang low pressure compressor up to 4,000 RPM. Meron kang intermediate compressor up to 14,000 RPM and high pressure compressor up to 22,000 RPM. So, triple spool na compressor. So, at any given power setting, the speed of rotation of the compressors increases in proportion to its pressure status. And thus, the intermediate pressure compressor or IP compressor rotates faster than the LP compressor, and the HP compressor rotates faster than the IP compressor. So basically, ang pinakamatas na rotation is yung HP, and then pababa na pababa papunta dun sa low pressure compressor, or patas na patas naman if dito ka manggagaling. So yun. So upon closing the throttle, or yun na yung mababa na RPM, the speed of the low pressure spool falls up more rapidly. So meaning siya yung mas unang bumababa na pressure since mababa nga lang din yung RPM niya than yung intermediate and yung high pressure. It can be arranged that the optimal shape of the vector diagram relating to compressor blade angle of attack can be maintained over a much greater engine RPM range, thus greatly reducing yung chance na ang compressor stall. So, additional info lang na kapag high pressure, tinatawag na N3. Kapag rotation ng spool, kapag intermediate naman is N2, and then kapag low pressure is N1. So, sa last part is yung construction ng compressors. So, first, yung sa rotor assembly. So, meron kang rotor shaft. It is coupled to the turbine shaft in a manner that will allow minor variations in alignment to be catered for. That's why in here, splined siya. Okay, so may rotor shaft, meron kang spline shaft, turbine shaft, and then the centrifugal load on the compressor dictates that the rotor blades are fixed to a disc. So, ito yung disc. Ito, rotor disc. So, ito yung rotor blades. Rotor blades connected to rotor disc. So, the most common type of rotor blade fixing method is yung dovetail joint and is secured to the disc by a pin or locking tab. Ito. So, meron ding valve root. But for three fixing, na then nag-form ng dovetail joint from compressor blades to yung disc natin. Yung connection, yung joint. So, usually, loose siya until seated by centrifugal force by its rotation nga during engine operation. Thus, when the engine is windmilling on the ground, the blades rattle loosely and make a sound like a bag of nails being shaken. Okay, so it has become difficult on smaller engines to design a practical compressor blade fixing method and at the same time maintain minimum rotor disc weight. So, ang ginawa nilang solution is to integrate yung blades dun sa disc natin. So, tinatawag siyang blisk. So, hindi na siya natatanggal. Kumbaga, integrated na yung compressor blades dun sa disc. tinatawag na disc. So for stator vanes naman, so kanina yung rotor, ito yung stator vanes. So airfoil shift siya again, and it can be fixed into the stator vanes retaining rings or sa casing mismo, fasten sa casing mismo. So pwedeng sa stator vane retaining ring or sa casing mismo. So they are fixed to the compressor casing directly as applied on shrouded vanes. So the shrouding prevents the stator vanes vibrating. The vibration can be induced by the velocity of the airflow over the vanes. So basically, shrouded, parang meron kang extra part here to reduce nga yung vibration. Next is yung compressor casing. The compressor casing at its low pressure end is constructed of aluminum alloy. So from low pressure yan. But further down, papunta dun sa high pressure, it is manufactured from steel alloys. Around the high pressure section of the compressor, only nickel-based alloys are capable of withstanding high air temperatures. So aluminum alloy sa low pressure, steel alloy sa intermediate, nickel-based alloy sa high pressure. And then for rotor blades naman, normally made from nickel alloys. They are machined to a close tolerance before being attached to the rotor disc. So, again, since meron nga concept ng air annulus, okay, yung compressor blades nagre-reduce in size through the compressor stages. So, from front to the rear of the compressor to accommodate the convergent shape of the air annulus. So, some of the low pressure stages of the compressor, where the temperatures of the compressor is not too high, possible na made from titanium lang. Okay? But then, kapag further stages, kailangan nickel na yung gamit. Okay? So, early engines used aluminum alloys in the manufacture of stator vanes. So, for stator vanes naman to. But they cannot withstand foreign object ingestion damage at all well. Thus, in-improve na yung material, ginamit na yung nickel or steel. Okay? Which have a high fatigue strength and are less easily cracked or eroded by impact are now used in the manufacture of stator vanes. In case lang na, ayun nga, meron kang foreign object na ma-ingest sa engine. So, also, titanium is occasionally used for the manufacture of the vanes in early stages of the compressor. But it is not suitable for the production of the smaller vanes further into the engine dito sa part 2, where the high temperatures of the compression can adversely affect it. So, another problem sa stator vanes, tinatawag na blade rub. It is where the rotor blades come into contact with the compressor casing. So, for ano na pala to, for rotors, nagkakaroon ng contact sa rotor blades andun sa casing. And sufficient heat from friction may then be generated to ignite yung titanium. This would at best require expensive repairs or at worst cause an unworthiness hazard. So, meron tinatawag na proper clearance management in this case. So, yun yung optimal clearance between the blades and yung casing. So, merong rotor balancing and alignment wherein nagkakaroon ng regular maintenance and alignment checks to minimize yung vibration. Also, para ma-preventin yung blade rub. Next is fan blade. So, konti na lang. The high bypass ratio engines fan blades. Ito. So, it is made from solid titanium, yung early engines, because titanium combines the properties of strength and lightness. Basically, meron kang high strength to weight ratio. So, low blade weight is essential if the fan is to be able to withstand the out of balance forces which would occur if a fan blade failed. So yun, despite the enormous strength of titanium, the fan blades had to have a snapper incorporated in their design, such as this one. So it is a support which prevents aerodynamic instability, but it adds weight, and also it may interfere with the airflow. So to remove that snub, iniba na lang yung material. Doon na nagkaroon ng carbon fiber. Okay? In-apply na dito sa fan blades. Okay, so ito nga, honeycomb core sandwich between two outer skins of titanium para matanggal na yung pag-use ng stubs. So, it gives the fan blade added strength with less weight, enabling the introduction of the wide chord fan blade. Ito, matas yung chord niya. And the stability of the blade is ensured as a result of its wider chord, and therefore the stubber is no longer necessary. So yun lang, for the last part, advantages and disadvantages ng axial flow compressor. So pag axial flow, meron kang high peak efficiencies, small frontal area, straight through flow, allowing high ram efficiency, and increased pressure rise by increasing number of stages with negligible losses. So disadvantages niya, good efficiencies over only narrow rotational speed range, difficulty sa pag-manufacture and mataas yung cost, relatively high weight and high starting part power requirements. So yun lang yung i-discuss natin for this video, yung compressor stage part ng cold section ng engine. So thank you.